I'm amazed every time I hear you talk. I'm amazed by how much I missed through all the specializations I had through the years. So thank you very much, Quan.
Thank you.
The question, it relates to, it's much more prosaic than what you have here, and sure, probably more so than what's to come. In the forms of conflict that you talked about today, we currently have a conflict between President or Chairman Xi and the CCP. Is there a relationship, or can you find a relationship between the forms that you told us about earlier and what's going on today, please?
Oh, yes. I'm absolutely grateful for your question, Douglas, because yes, I would say that what the drama that is playing in Beijing now is almost a reenactment of what happened between Emperor Wu of Han between 141 BCE and 87 BCE. Okay. President Xi is the supreme leader of China nowadays, so he would be the equivalent of Emperor Wu, I would say. And inside the CPC, you have factions who would be the equivalent of the plutocrats of Sang Hongyang. Okay, because to put things very simple, okay, and I hope that the true sinologists would not destroy me because I would simplify things very much. Okay, I would say that President Xi represents, in my understanding, the Gongyang interpretation of the Chunqiu. Okay, meaning that he wants the state to be strong in order to give a classical education for as many Chinese people as possible. And one of his main advisor, the number 4 of the Politburo Standing Committee, which is Wang Huning, Wanghuning, that Wang Huning wrote in 1991 a book called America Against America, and that Stephen talked about me 2 weeks ago. Talked about that book to me 2 weeks ago. That book, written 30 years ago by Wang Huning, predicted what is happening now in America. Okay, I just want to mention that just to stress that the fact that the man is not an ordinary man. And that man is at the root of the restoration of the classical education of Confucianism that we see nowadays in China. So Wang Huning and Xi Jinping and the other 5 of the of the Politburo Standing Committee, they want to be part of the restoration of universal history in China, and China being a big piece in the planet that would be an influence in the rest of the world to come back to the classical education and to come back to the timeless journey of universal history, meaning peace and prosperity for all. Okay, if we want to define universal history end goal in a simple manner. And the plutocratic dimension of that struggle is the Shanghai Clique. And the Shanghai Clique, the leader of the Shanghai Clique is still alive, and he is the former president Jiang Zemin, okay, Jiang Zemin, Jiang Zemin. He was ruling China between 1989 and 2002. And during that period of the Chinese development, the Shanghai Clique developed a lot of interactions and interconnections with the international finance and the financial dimension of the present day economy. Okay, I'm speaking of the global financial economy. And if you notice, at the last day of the Congress, former President Jiang Zemin was not at the long table, okay, of the 25 or 30 members of the Politburo. It was a sign for the Chinese people and the Chinese ruling class that it is not acceptable anymore for the plutocrats to run amok in China. And what happened to Jack Ma in 2020 it was a sign that the Chinese ruling class wouldn't be merciless to the plutocrats from now on in China. And the other major faction in China is the Chinese Youth League. And the Chinese Youth League, the leader of the Chinese Youth League is the former president Hu Jintao. Okay, and I think that all of you saw the clips of a minute about the fact that President Hu Jintao has been escorted out of the hall, and it was a political move. Okay, because President Hu Jintao, former President Hu Jintao, expected that his protege Hu Chunqiao would have been accepted inside the Politburo. And since he discovered at the last day that it's not the case, he was trying to provoke a scandal when the foreign journalists were introduced into the hall. And so that scene also, I think, has been a stage to send a clear message to the Chinese ruling class, to the Chinese people, that China is going through a difficult period, and that absolute or almost absolute unity is needed inside China to overcome the headwinds ahead.
Mm-hmm.